Hi, and thanks for tuning to the Fight Zone podcast. I'm Seth, and in this episode I talk with an undefeated mixed martial artist from New Zealand. Michelle the Wild One Montague is IMMAF World Champion, IMMAF Oceania Open 2020 Lightweight Champion, and Michelle was absolutely awesome. This happened to be one of the best episodes. We talk about benefits of training MMA from recreational and competitive perspective, coaching and mental health. Follow Michelle at Instagram, The Wild One MMA, Facebook, Michelle Montague MMA, YouTube, Michelle Montague, and all links are into the description as usual.
Why do we fight? To protect home and family. To preserve balance and bring harmony. For our kind, the true question is, what is worth fighting for? The Fight is All podcast.
Here you go. We are. Thank you so much for waiting me. That's probably the latest one I have ever done, but yeah, you just jump on it and yeah.
No, it's all good, all good. I mean, it's the thing, we're in New Zealand, we're all in isolation at the moment. So, it's not like we have to be up early for anything. So it's all good.
Yeah, it's all the same. It's super annoying. I kind of start getting on my head. It gets me, I don't like to be contained so much. I guess that's common for everyone who is training, so it's kind of annoying.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know in Australia there's you guys aren't as strict as we are here. I mean, you're allowed to do certain things. You're allowed to go out do kayaking and fishing and stuff like that there. Whereas New Zealand, I mean, both countries the gyms are closed, but I mean over here there's so much more strict on what we can actually do, recreation wise. I mean, but still you shouldn't be bored in this time if you've got, any sense of brain.
Well, I have stuff to do. I don't say like I'm not busy. I'm always busy because I always have stuff to do.
Yeah.
But it just, you feel the pressure, of have limitation that you're not used to and you shouldn't have normally. And you feel that intensity with the other people, people like kind of nervous, it's different vibe.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just not the same, all this. Normally, I'm like born Eastern Europe. What I would like in Australia, everyone is like so easy, but now it's like everyone is like so tense, It's just
I know what you mean. Like
weird,
New Zealand, everybody's normally super chill, and then now you drive through the town, there's nobody there, and you see like two old people talking to each other 2 meters apart, like across the other side of the footpath to each other, and I'm like, man, that's so weird. We're used to hugging and handshaking and high-fiving all the time, and I mean it's good though. People are taking it seriously. You never know who's carrying it, so it's good to be safe than sorry. But it is really weird to see from such a relaxed country like us in Australia, to see people being so adherent to strict rules like that.
Yeah, and and when you meet someone that like.
Yeah, you don't know what to do. You can't
trying to make like strange
hug and
greetings,
all that stuff.
Yeah, it's just weird. I hope it doesn't last too long. I think here in Australia we're getting good. We kind of try. I think the numbers are getting better.
Yeah,
so I
same
hope that
here.
won't last so much.
Yeah, we find out on Monday. So in a couple of days, the government will tell us if we go to like the next level down of intensity, so we can go back to certain normalities of life. But at this moment now, we're still at the highest level of staying at your home and no working and no going to public gyms and things like that there. But I think that maybe they give us 1 more week of that. But if not, then we should be able to go back to start working and maybe doing gym trainings. But I mean, we made a gym at my house on the second day of isolation. So
I watched that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool video. I'm actually. My intention is to post it when I announce this episode because I watched this video. It's really fresh, really cool.
Yeah. It was I was in there and I had my boxing bag, my heavy bag, like hanging up in a hook in the this greenhouse spa house thing. And then I was in there and I just like talking away and thinking, man, it was so cool if like this whole thing was a little dojo, but there's a big wall here and anyway, we're like talked to my dad about it, and my dad makes shit happen. So he was like, he's like, oh yeah, well I could probably knock that down, blah blah blah. And next thing, you know, we're ordering some mats for the floor of the gym, and we've got the bag in there already. And next thing you knew, like we had like a legit like 4x3 meter gym space. Yeah.
But that's pretty. That's pretty alright for one or two people training. You
Yeah,
don't really need so much.
exactly. Yeah, we
Oh,
have 2 people maximum. That's it, you know.
well, the place when I started back home in Eastern Europe, you know, coaching was so tiny. You know, gyms here in Australia huge compared to the place we train there. You were pretty much like when you train there, we're going for a takedown walk. Like if there's empty space, you're trying to toss the guy there because there's no space.
Yeah, we did wrestling. The day before yesterday, Anna and I did wrestling, and I was like, oh, I'll do some double legs, and then like for my takedowns, and I was like, oh, okay, I really can't be doing any blast doubles here because, I mean, she's a little bit smaller, but still strong, you know. But as soon as I take 2 steps, her head's nearly on the wall, so you definitely learn your technique better.
you start cutting this corner, right?
Yeah, you start turning the corner instead of blasting straight ahead.
Yeah,
But I
true.
mean, we get strong muscles from doing the wall work because it's just wooden walls at this stage, so our backs get tough.
Well, if you're lucky to have these rigid walls in the spaces, all right, because we always have the experience to make these holes in the wall, you know, when we wrestle.
I know. I put a hole in the wall at City Kickboxing. We're wrestling one of the Wednesday nights, and I went to. I think I went to double leg a boy, but I didn't take him down, so I just kept driving straight ahead, and then my elbow just went through this drywall, and I was like, "Fuck!" So I went to Eugene, and I was like, "Oh." After training, I was like, oh, sorry, I put a hole in the wall. When he looks at me and is like, "Oh, the wall that I'm gonna blast out anyway. All good."
Yeah,
I
lucky
was
you.
like so scared, eh? Like put a hole in their nice new gym wall, but he's like, "No, it's all good. We're gonna tear that wall down anyway."
Yeah, we had a wall in. Actually, that was my I think my second or third gym that I had back home. But we had a wall which was like this, like cardboard wall that is really easy.
Oh, yeah.
And but we knew that we were gonna destroy it sooner or later, so like we was not so, you know, so brave about it. And we was writing, you know, like this one's head, you know, like Mir's head, like this elbow. So just writing them down. And then we actually made the wall like more rigid after. But we we did a bit.
Oh,
Because sooner or later you bang into it. Wherever you do, I put some bags like near it. So, but sometimes just the bags, you know, they trip the people over. Just like poof, you have a flat in the wall.
I think I went to like stop, but my foot went onto like the puzzle mat next to the actual mat, and then I was like, well, I'm falling, so the wall just was there. But
yeah, walls are definitely a problem with the people who do takedowns. You always bang into them.
yeah, well, at least with our little dojo that we built, I think we'll break before the wall breaks.
Oh yeah, that's fair, you know.
Exactly right. Yeah, exactly.
But it looks cool. It's really cool. Like it looks like a really cool small place. I just made my grappling dummy. Last version of grappling dummy. I had done these ones before a couple of times because I had like times that I had to, you know, just be myself in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, you made one dummy.
Yeah.
Out of what? Bread?
So I used this time some water parts. These the plastic ones. And a couple of these yoga mats just for the body because I like to have some, because I like to do pressure. I'm coming from some background, so like my controls are like more wrestling based, so I need something, you know, to squeeze and try to smash. So I need a bit of volume. And always, you know, it takes two old like hoodies. That's the rule, you know, for the face and the back. And just
I was gonna say, what was the face on it?
Yeah, and an old towel for the head.
Yeah.
It happened good. Like last time I did was I was in Laos for a year, and I was working on a project there, and I was in the middle of nowhere in the mountains of Laos. You know, obviously no one trains, you know, grappling there. And they didn't in the village that I was actually had to work. There was not really even they have like a version of Muay Thai in this area, but
Yeah.
they have someone who is teaching them. So I had to train by myself. So yeah, like it happened a couple of times for me to make grappling dummies. So I'm getting pretty good into it.
What were you doing in Laos?
I was building a water power plant.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was fun here. I spent a year, living in Laos, Cambodia, and Thailand.
Mm.
Train couple of times. Actually, like as much as I could in elite boxing. It's my
Yeah. Do you
favorite
do a
title.
lot of Muay Thai over there?
Yeah, when I was getting out of there, because I was getting out every 2-3 weeks, I was going to do Muay Thai because since I'm in the area, you go do some Muay Thai,
Of course. Yeah.
I'm not big fan of Muay Thai technique myself, to be honest. But since I'm in the area, like use the chance to learn.
Yeah, exactly. You just do it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm.
How you start doing combo sports? It's not unusual anymore for girls to do combo sports. You guys are pretty good. I'm a big fan of female MMA.
Yeah.
Actually, my team started the female MMA in my country, so I'm really big on girls fighting for a couple of reasons. First of all, when girls fight, it's beautiful because they're always better than the guys. Just for the simple rule that they train with guys and they're just forced to do the things right.
Yeah.
Because guys are normally bigger, stronger, whatever they do, they just force. If they catch someone, they catch them by right technique, and
Yeah.
they're getting, and they don't have this gap that the guys have always to muscle up. They start doing the things, either start doing things right or they give up. So the
Yeah.
girls always become really really good, and when I went in at present moment when I'm watching MMA, watching it from coaching perspective, from stuff that I can see, and to be honest, you see more stuff in female MMA than in when guys fighting.
Mm.
Just because they're better, less trained, but the technique that they use, it's so awesome. It's just like, damn, those girls are good.
Yeah, I feel like with the girls, with women, there's such a big, a big skill range between, say, the top and the bottom. With the men, it's such a smaller skill range, like the top five are so tight, whereas the woman, because we're newer to it, there's less numbers, the top five could be such a vast range of skills, and, completely different skill sets in that there. But over time, like as in there was only say a handful of girls doing it 5 years ago, and now there's hundreds. So
Oh
it'll
yeah,
change
yeah,
over
yeah.
time. But for myself personally, I was playing rugby since I was 4 years old. So did that for like 15 odd years, just playing rugby year after year. So contact was always something I did. In terms of actual combat sports, I didn't do any sport versions. I was always feisty and I got into fights at school. Not saying that's something that you should do, but just some little disagreements here, there, and everywhere. And but anyway, cooled down a bit when I got a bit older. But when I just started watching. I was on YouTube one time and I seen this chick Ronda Rousey pop up, and I was like, oh, what is this? Watch these videos, and she'd just come on to like the pro MMA scene, and it was like no one knew her really outside of judo. And I was watching these videos and thinking, damn, who is this person? And like, what is this sport they're doing? And she's dominating these other girls within seconds and minutes maximum, And I was just fascinated by it. So at the time I was playing rugby overseas in North America, and I was coming home in a few months, and I thought I need to find out where to train this sport that they're doing, but I didn't even know what these sports were. So I came home to play rugby in the regional circuit we have here. I searched up. I just literally put on Google MMA Hamilton where I was living, and there was a gym called MMA popped up, and I just started training there, doing morning, lunch, and night classes back to back to back. And I think after 5 weeks of training, I had my first fight, and loved it, and was part fascinated by the process and also loved it. And it was a pretty lightweight for me, 65 or 66 kilos. And so I did that one, and then did another one pretty soon after, all while playing rugby at the same time. So I was just completely engulfed in it while doing another sport, so not really giving it the fair chance it deserved. So when I eventually, copped too many injuries from doing too much at once, I'd play rugby game in the morning, drive 2 hours north for the jiu-jitsu national regionals, and then drive 2 hours back home afterwards. I'd do all of that in a day just so I could do it all, So, as you'd expect, I finally broke my leg, and after that I was a bit like, okay, I need to really just settle down onto one sport. We've got Commonwealth Games coming up, blah, blah, blah. So I'll focus on one. I went overseas to train for that, and the day before my flight into the village, I broke my other leg. So by then I was like, okay, we just need to really focus on fighting now, because I feel like I narrowed it down to a couple of sports, and I still feel like I cheated on one sport by breaking a bone in the other, wrestling May. So then I was finally grateful to just be at peace with the thought of just, being focused on just MMA after that point. So yeah, that's where we're at now. And that was only that was all 4 years ago now. So I've had 2 broken legs in the last 4.5 years, and that's when I started fighting.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's not long.
Well, I just want to bring you back to what you said, about Ronda Rousey. You can see how female MMA developed for that short time, because just a couple of years ago she was wiping out everyone else, because she was actually the only Olympic level athlete in the sport, and she was wiping all the other chicks. And now you have just a couple of years after, the female class are way more balanced. They're going back and forth so much. So it's really that only shows how much developed the sport for that short time with the girls. So it's just only going to get better.
Yeah, you see girls that specialize in certain areas, where it's grappling or judo or striking. You see one of them just smashing girls for a period of time, and then you get someone like Amanda Nunes, who's amazing in all areas, actually hold on to it. But yeah, we've got passed around like hot sauce there for a minute, eh?
Yeah. Well, you have superstars now. Valentina Shevchenko is doing awesome. And she has awesome game, she's awesome in striking. Her wrestling is really good. She's really tight when she grabs. Really like her as well. Also doing really, really, really good. Yeah, and I don't know, there are more girls coming into it. I remember when I started, because actually my wife was the first girl that was actually fighting in my country.
Wow.
And because of that, I was actually the first gym that we started actually coaching girls in training girls for MMA. So I have 8 girls fighting.
Yeah.
And most of the time, especially when grappling comes, there was no other girls. And listen, I know it's annoying. Come and compete against each other, because that will bring other girls. And now they have girls divisions. Back in the days, they was coming. Oh, there's no. I say I know. But if you don't come as well, no one else will come. So just
my God, you're preaching to the choir there, man. Honestly, the amount of times that we've had a in-house competition, our gym has had a comp, and you get girls within our own gym saying, "Oh, who's entered? I'll enter once I see who else is doing it." And I'm like, that defeats the purpose. Just enter. So then girls from outside the gym see our names, and they go, "Oh, there's already girls in it," and it makes the divisions look like there's no females doing the sport, because there's the 2 of them competing, if that, when there's about 200 of them that could be entered. So it's that whole I'll wait till she enters, blah, 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 blah. It's a snowball effect, and you get no one competing on the day. So, we have probably 10 different little grappling tournaments that we can do throughout the year of different people that own them, and really only one of them gets actual competition in it. And it's that whole just, I don't want to compete against my teammate, I wait till someone else enters. And you just got to say screw that, enter, compete on the day, you're all friends, doesn't matter, just compete for the love of the sport, and growing as an athlete.
Yeah, especially on grappling. I had a rule because my team is way bigger back home. He is still developing. It's still small here. But I had a rule and I think they're still keeping it because my students are teaching there. If you can walk, you do the grappling tournament. Whatever. Yeah. You just, if you're able to walk, if you're not really smashed or dead or sick.
2 legs, you're entered.
Yeah, you enter. Like,
Yeah.
what's the worst that can happen? Yeah, you can get submitted. Okay, fine. Okay, we'll see how you get caught. You're gonna work on it. You won't
Yeah.
get caught the next time this way. At least you're gonna learn one way that you won't get caught like
Yeah.
that.
Exactly.
What's the worst that can happen in grappling tournament?
Yeah.
In the end, like even if you lose dramatically, which is not dramatic in grappling tournament, what was the worst? You can get submitted. Next 2 weeks, there will be another one.
Yeah.
So it's
Exactly.
nothing to lose. You just I'm big fan of grappling tournaments for everyone because that's the perfect how to say environment to teach you how to win.
Yeah.
Because any combo sport it comes down to how to achieve a win against someone who is prepared to kick your ass.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a skill that you learn, and
Yeah.
it's very hard to learn this skill in the gym because yeah, in the gym more or less okay, I train with this guy, he kicks my ass, and this guy is taking me down, and I stay there forever until the round is over. You know each other, even if it's a really big gym, you still know your partners there, and you have favorite partners, and
Yeah.
even if you know that, you still I rather go with this guy except not with that guy because this guy is like a bit like rough for me. I don't really I like to roll with this guy. You still have preference, and only grappling only competition environment can actually really make you push yourself because it's pretty much the same what you do in the gym, but you give it importance.
I
And
agree
when
with
you
that.
give
Like,
importance to
yeah.
something, then you really try to do something, and that exposes your weaknesses, so strengthen you actually evolve.
Yeah, I've talked to a few girls that have been, like when I've talked to them at competitions or at their gym, they say that they're nervous into comps or they think it's too competitive or whatever. Or when I coach the women's MMA class at Core, I say to the girls, okay, we're going to have a class tonight as if it's a competition because these are all your classmates. There's no animosity. You all love each other. You'll joke around. You don't take it too seriously. But this class we're going to grapple like it's a competition. Okay, there'll be time limits. You get points. You can sub all that because I want them to get used to actually coming in with that mindset because you get so used to just coming in quite placid, sitting on your bum, scooting in, slaps and knuckles, whatever. Like there's nothing at stake. The only time you get it maybe is in a competition, and then that's the first time. That's a bit late to be feeling that feeling for the first time. Like, yeah, it's a little bit different, but why can't you just replicate that in training sometimes? So I love getting all our girls together that are maybe keen to compete at some point or on that brink of wanting to, and just putting them in little matches and going for it and just saying, and I tell them, I say, you're not allowed to take any steps backwards, once you start standing, okay? No steps backwards. I know realistically in a fight, sometimes you need to, and that's fine. But in my class, I'm like, no steps backwards off the start of this because I see too many of this wipeout dancing around thing, like not trying to connect with each other, and it's scared of the contact, scared to wrestle, Jiu-jitsu, you guys can be a little bit scared to sometimes, or some girls can. So I'm like, nah, get in there, grapple each other, and, fight until the time is up. So, yeah, they do that, and then they actually finish the class actually super proud of themselves. They look full of confidence, and they mostly look surprised that they could actually come out with that kind of intensity against their own teammates, I love that.
Yeah, and when you put these conditions, you see how they change. It's not the
Yeah.
same. Like it's not just you do actually the same with the same people. But when you put this like, oh, now it's gonna be competition, you're gonna get points. Everyone's like, oh, first like kind of awkward, but
Yeah.
when they get into it, it's like, oh, they actually start really pushing it, and then I
Yeah.
can actually do that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's easy to sit down at the end and say, okay, girls, ask each one, did you get subbed? Yes, no, cool. What with? Right. Okay, cool. And I bank that in my head. So the last, 20 minutes we'll break down a couple of easy things to go over for those particular, stuff that they got caught with, and I know what to work on for the next session because, hey, look, we all did a miniature competition. This is what you lost with. Let's go over it,
Yeah, that's really good approach. I also use it, to analyze fighting, just to adjust, what we're doing because that makes it uh, personal, but at the same time, when you train together as a team, if someone does a mistake, there's a big chance other ones do the same mistake as well.
Yeah.
So when you work on a mistake that someone does, especially if he's competing, there's a big chance everyone has this gap because you just haven't covered it recently, or you just
Yeah.
as a coach you are thinking over someone else. So they say, oh, okay, so now we start getting caught in, and that gives you kind of like how your coaching is actually going, and if you leave gaps or something. Because as everyone who is coaching, like they're periods you cannot teach everything in once. You have periods that you're doing more like, let's say, armbar stuff or like more wrestling stuff. We just working on this particular stuff at this moment. But suddenly it happens, okay, we go on competition, we see like, oh, we're getting caught with like something. And if we repeat on two guys, say, okay, we have to work on that, because obviously, like these guys doesn't know that. And
yeah, that's interesting. We just started, would have been towards the end of last year, like an analytics part of our at Corman and Hamilton there. So every class there, either me or one of the coaches, mostly the other coaches, I only take the one per week, but everything that you take as a coach or as a student, there's certain tags that you can click on our online, but for just members and coaches, you click these tags and it'll any topics that you covered. So I can go on there now and click on, my training diary from everything at that gym, click it, because every class that I've checked into, and every tag I've done is loaded in there automatically. So it comes up with analytics there, a little red line on every part or every topic that I haven't covered yet or haven't been a part of yet. So if I've never gone to, say, one of these gi or no gi jiu-jitsu classes for, say, 4 weeks, and they've covered all these topics in 4 weeks and I haven't been for some reason, it'll come up with red lines and say maybe Kimura or North-South or Das or whatever was covered, because I haven't been there for it. So you can actually see the big gaps in all your learning content, and even as a coach, maybe the stuff that you haven't been coaching. Or if every class you go to is only the MMA class, it'll show that as well. You're not covering the other areas. So that's a really cool tool that Carlo's actually brought into our gym over there, is being able to see all the areas that you maybe cover all the time, or you're in it all the time, or the ones that you haven't been to at all. So yeah, you can sit down with your coach and be like, hey, look, here's that on the computer. Boom, look, I haven't been to any class that's covered a DAS in this last 6 months. Let's do some work on that. Or as a coach, I need to start teaching that.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's really well organized. Yeah, that's really advanced.
Yeah, he's been putting out daily, training sessions while we're in isolation as well. So you can log on, click the virtual MMA class, and it'll be either kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, MMA, or a Tabata variation or combination of them all. And you'll have, a certain task or training that you need to do that day. And whether you've got a training partner or a dummy that you made yourself or a Superman or whatever you've got, a pillow, you can actually do this class at home. So you can click into it, check in, add notes, talk to each other on that little, that virtual hub. So it's actually been good to keep accountable, during this time as well.
Oh wow, you that's really nice. You guys are doing. I really like it.
Yeah.
I was speaking with Joseph Luciano recently. They making these Zoom classes, so they keep.
Oh yeah.
They keep doing these regular classes with Coach Ed and the other ones, and they even have like this timetable, which is pretty much similar on the gym. So you just the same that you normally train, you just switch on the Zoom. You just doing some
I haven't
classes.
jumped on the Zoom bandwagon yet, but I've seen it everywhere, and it must be good that people are using it. A lot of people are doing their, online PTs that they can't do in person per se, but doing it online, and everyone's joining in on it. I feel like mostly I've seen just people having drinking sessions on Zoom together at this stage online.
Well, I haven't used it yet, but yeah, I'm trying to. I don't know. I don't like to watch the screen when I train.
Yeah.
Maybe because I'm kind of old school, but
yeah, no.
So I'm not really big fan of that. So when I'm trying to post some, for my students to do, I just pretty much list it, but just let them work with it if they want, probably because that's my way of comprehending things. I like to have the things listed and just I take a screenshot or just have it printed and just train.
Learn by doing, not watching and sitting there. Yeah.
Yeah, because I cannot imagine myself, watching a screen and training. It's just not my thing. I don't really like it.
Yeah, I feel the same. If I'm learning something, I watch someone do it, or whether it's a video or in person, cool, I can watch them do it for 5 minutes maximum kind of thing, and then my brain starts to go, so I'm watching it or whatever, and then I really learn when I'm actually doing it. So I need to be focusing on whether it's a sparring partner or a drilling partner or a heavy bag or whatever. So if I'm focusing on that and I'm focusing on where my mind and my body is moving to, I feel like that's the way I can learn. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm off balance. Why am I off balance? Oh, that's right. In that little video or whatever the coach said, his foot moves here, so I need to move my foot there. Little things like that, those little cues that you can put into your brain when you're actually doing it physically. But yeah, I couldn't sit there and watch a screen as I'm trying to do, whatever drill we're doing.
Yeah. I don't know. It's maybe me, but it doesn't work for me. I cannot watch a screen and train. I need to have my head in, and yeah, of course I use the chance, to steal drills and stuff from other coaches, because everyone is posting now, like me as well. Like it just, you feel like because you're contained, and especially when you're coach, you're contained, you cannot coach. I say like whatever, I just give everything, like whoever wants to take it.
Yeah.
But I also like also like way better coaches than me, and I post stuff, and yeah, I steal stuff, and I honestly admit that, because like like that's what you do, like we have a saying back home, like you don't learn a craft, you steal a craft.
Yeah, one person created it, everybody else stole it.
Yeah, but that's how combo sports develop. You want to start from here, start from there, put them together. You put some, something from yourself, and it works for you, and that's the beauty of it. So
yeah, I mean, the one that I posted up that we did, the Montana's training video for the wrestling one on our Instagrams, that was actually Wrestling Fanatics or whatever it was on Instagram. It posted it. I'd saved it before we were all in isolation, and then once we're in here, I thought, oh, that's actually a good workout to do, gym or no gym, anyone can do it. So we videoed us doing it, chopped it into a little iMovie, and posted it out there, and we had a couple of people reply back saying they gave it a go and like how hard it was or blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, damn, I stole that whole thing. So props to tag the person that I like, the page I took it from.
Well, when I'm trying something and film myself, like in order to have my consciousness clear, I normally give reference to where I pick it from. It's conditioning session, something. Especially now, because I experiment with some conditioning sessions that I was like doubtful, that's gonna be good enough, and now like whatever, just give it a try on this one, and I just say okay, like I took this from wherever.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
Everyone takes something from somewhere. I don't. I'm not ashamed that I'm picking something. I actually give credit to the people who actually steal from.
Yeah.
So I try to steal honestly.
Hey?
I try to steal honestly, respectfully stealing stuff.
Yeah. Because there's always those trolls out there that are going to be like, oh, you stole this from so and so, and you're like, damn, I wasn't trying to be like a dick about it, I just thought it was cool. So imitation is the biggest form of flattery.
Yeah, but you experiment with stuff, like, and at the end of the day, like whatever you do, like armbar or like double leg is double leg, but you can always make it better. Like you can make double leg for 10 years a day. It's always something you can make better. And if you find from somewhere that you can actually, like improve your even double leg, that normally everyone knows to do double leg in a way, but there's always better way to do. Like I'm doing double leg, I don't know how many years, and sometimes I see like, oh, that might be better than the way I'm doing it. Just like it's just always something. It's endless. So there's no shame in that. But in order to keep my consciousness clear when I take something from somewhere and I feel myself doing it, I normally try to give reference. Say I saw this from there and I experiment with it. That's it. Might work for me, might not.
Is your main focus or your main area, your background wrestling?
It happened very strange with me because I dropped in the world of MMA while being a kickboxer, and I dropped I already like say this story many times, but I just dropped into the combat sambo national team just because no one else wanted to take the sport.
Yeah, okay.
And then I started getting grappling serious, because before that I was grappling for fun. I was actually grappling in order not to run, because as a kickboxer I was running every morning. And I just found out there's a sambo section there, and I started going there instead of my like morning runs, to grapple.
Yeah.
Just for the fun of it.
It's way more fun than running.
It is. My kickboxing coach hated it, and like he was like, "Oh, like don't do that. You start hugging too much. You're clinching too much." He was probably right from kickboxing perspective, but I kind of like how grappling addictive is.
Yes,
Because like it's kind of, and sometimes you start thinking, "Oh, that's actually might be a more clever style to fight than actually just punching each other." And I started to hiding from him, and he was forbidding me before competitions to grapple, because you clinching too much. But in a way, like I started actually to understand that clinch is not like where the fight is ending. You can actually use it. And I actually like applied a couple of cool tricks that worked for me a couple of times in kickboxing, and like take people off balance and like land something good. And then I said, oh, clinch is just not just like where the fight ends. You can actually start using, because I was mostly competing K1. K1 was my better style for performance. And so long story short, then I started gaining grappling serious after I got into the national team, in combat sambo national team. And then I started training grappling seriously, and with the time, because I was all thinking like I know how to strike, so after this I started putting a lot of attention to grappling, because that was my weak side. But then with the time, I started getting like quite comfortable with my grappling, so then I start striking more again, just because of the fun of it. So like now, like I don't care, but I don't compete anymore. So now I think I figured it out, but I stopped competing because I got off.
Passed on to all our students.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy to have like good students. So I think like we will figure it out. So like at least the guys back home are doing good. Like we start doing good here as well. Like start growing. But yeah.
You got a lot of students competing in IMMAF?
Not much. Unfortunately, because since I started working for IMMAF here, it's really great idea, and I think that's the future of the sport, especially from an amateur point of view. But in order to have like a strong professionals, you need strong amateur base.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I'm all for that, because coming from Eastern Europe, like my understanding for the sport is way more like based on the Olympic style preparation. I mean, cycles, mesocycles, you have these small competitions, big competitions during the year, but you need to compete. What we already, I think you're on a similar opinion with me, because we spoke about graph. You need to compete to get good.
Exactly, yeah. It's the mental and physical side all combined. Like the mental side is so huge.
It is, because everyone who has been training for a while knows that there are people who train for let's say 10 years or something, who are not competing. They're pretty good, but average competitor like overpass them for 2 years, just because of the intensity he puts and intention he puts into the things he does. Just because you can see how mental side is born, because you can train for fun for 10 years, you can be really good. But just the intention that you put when you're a computer, even if you train less time and you obviously know less material, you're just becoming better just because of the intensity, your mental intensity you put into it. So it's really important, and you cannot do this otherwise. I had students who asked me, "Oh, can I become as good as let's say as this guy if I'm not competing?" And the only thing I can say to such stupid question is, it's possible, but it's highly unlikely.
Yeah.
Because this guy is so good just because he competed that much.
You need to go in there. Like it's getting comfortable with what initially was uncomfortable. Like there's nothing that will replicate getting into a cage and fighting someone. Like the closest thing to it is sparring with people that you can be intimidated by, and say that are better than you in certain areas of the game. but apart from that, nothing can replicate that feeling. So you need to do everything you can to get as close to it as possible. And that is, grappling comps, wrestling comps, sparring and rolling rounds, those light sparring sessions that you do, touch sparring sessions that you do when you're drilling, everything like that there, just to get you used to it and to get your mind switching from, oh, it's a fun training where I'm smiling, I'm not in danger, to, well, shit, yeah, okay, this is sparring. I am in danger if I don't get my act together. This is the closest thing that will replicate in actual fights. And the more you do it, of course, the better you're going to get at coping with that stress that your body's under.
The way I see it from my perspective, once you learn to love the challenge, it starts working. Because until you feel intimidated by challenge, I think you're still on the newbie phase. You still cannot really expand your game. But once you start to, to accept that, okay, it's going to be hard, but, like this,
love it, yeah.
This weird enjoyment of that is hard, and it's like you're going to get a bit hurt. But once you start enjoying it, in a way, you kind of, release your mind to start actually thinking into the game. And then you actually start playing. But by my opinion, before your 10th fight, you're a newbie. I mean, like in January, your 10th competition, because you're still so excited that you're competing, from the people I have been training for the years, and for myself as well. Until my 10th fight, like you go there, you swing, you fight, and then it's over, and you ask your coach, did they win? Did they lose? You don't even know what happened.
You don't know what happened, eh?
Yeah, your brain switches off. You do whatever you're doing, and then you back, and you're like, what happened? Like, where was it? Like, what happened? This means you was pretty much on autopilot. Your brain was not on. But after your 10th fight, like, okay, I won't die. I was there already like 10 times. And let me try this one. Might work, might not. And then you start playing. So when you start playing, you start getting good. But before you do this, like 10 first competitions that you get from this wild state of, like it's all rolling, and like you fight and you survive, which is the main thing. Your first competition, you mostly survive because you think that, oh, it's this guy's gonna punch me. Yeah, but it's not gonna kill you. No one. Okay, like. Unfortunately, they're like bad injuries, but if you're prepared, you probably won't get killed if you're coming from a good gym.
You most likely won't die, which is what we're going to tell our mum and dads when we first want to fight. Like, you go to your fight, mum and dad, and probably not going to die, and they're like, what? Probably.
Yeah, it's our sport is very weird. You kind of like balance on a very fine line between like being in danger and being comfortable with it.
Yeah.
So it's really awkward, like it's very hard to explain, but there is kind of beauty of it. You mentioned your parents. How your parents are feeling when you're competing? Do you bring them on competitions?
Yeah, so I mean, that first fight I had was like 5 weeks after training. They'd always watched me play rugby, and knew that I was a scrappy kid. Like, I was constantly just like crazy kid. And so like when I was having the fight, after that 5 weeks, they weren't super like shocked or whatever, and mum's pretty quiet, dad's not quiet, but they both were kind of quiet about this whole fight subject. They were just like, oh, whatever. Like, I mean, they know I'm going to do whatever I want to do, and they can't argue with that. So not like they were going to try and convince me otherwise. But I remember I had the fight, weighed in, they were all excited, I was at weight, cool, whatever. And I didn't feel any ounce of scared, because I didn't know what to expect. I was bigger than the girl. Like, we both made weight, but I felt physically like a lot bigger, just, as a person. So I wasn't like standing there looking up at her, shitting myself. So, I was comfortable with the whole concept, what was going to happen the next day after weigh, and had the fight. One in the first round with a guillotine. It wasn't pretty, like the whole everything leading up to that. It was like, I look back at it and I cringe, but like I think we all do when we look back at our first fight. And then I came back to the table where they were sitting afterwards, and they were like, cool, okay, well, you've done your fight thing, you've done that, tick that off the bucket list, move on to the next thing. Like they were joking, but there was definitely a tone of seriousness in there. But here we are 4 years later, still doing it. So, and they're super excited to watch it every time now. And like, they know that there's always that possibility of, winning and losing in the same, thing, but they back me. And, so far, that's all gone to plan. But you know, that's all part of the game as well, is losing and taking those losses and learnings, and your parents are going to be the ones there, hopefully, that have your back, you know, the most out of everyone, you know, and your coach. So yeah, they're going to go through that ride of emotions with me for sure.
Yes, like you, I am really happy when you hear people have this experience, because my experience was really different. I brought my dad once on a competition and I lost, and I remember how I was, because I couldn't think about the fight at all. I was thinking about him all the time, and I had a hard bracket. It was late Thai competition, which was kind of beginning of MMA, so they it was not kickboxing. There was kind of ground game, but it was really rough. So they pick you up after like a certain time. It was not really clear. I don't really remember, but there was kind of ground game. But I was mostly kickboxing at that time, and I was just staying up and fighting, staying, because my ground was really basic. And but I had a fight. There was a good guy who was coming from boxing background, so we just stand and fought, and was going back and forth. But all the time I couldn't really think about what I should do. I was thinking about, okay, that's getting hard, and like my dad is watching, and it was going back and forth with this guy. You actually trying to tear your heads off. It was quite ugly, and I was, but and. I think it was bad, but when I analyzed what happened in my head, I was not in the fight. I was super concerned what is he seeing at the moment, instead of trying to win the fight. And I say, okay, that's the first and the last time you won't watch me anymore.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, you was alright. I said, no, I was not alright. I was, and I was like, how pissed off you are if you don't really. And from this time on, I just made a rule for myself. I go compete by myself and call them straight after. And then that way it worked for me. I call them. I say, okay, I won, I lost, whatever. Everything is alright. I'm healthy, and that's it. And that's the way it worked for me. But the thing is, my mom was pretty much right, because my mom is Russian. So she has 6 brothers.
She's fighter already.
Well, some of them are fighting. One of my uncles, he was fighting sambo as well. He was in the forces in Russia. So she was right. She knows the boys like to fight. It's good for them. It's right. But the thing is, my dad is an artist. He's a painter, right?
Yes.
And we had a big struggle. I was training 5 years, and he couldn't accept that I'm doing that. And it started in a very rough way, because we're kind of arguing. He said, "Oh, you be dumb," but I say, "No, but that's an art." And he said, "No, that's not an art. That's an art." And he showed me his paintings. And I was like, "Listen, I'm also painting, but just on the face of the other guys." And my dad was like, "Oh, that's so ugly," It was me 5 years. So I became national champion a couple of times. Until my dad actually said, "Oh, that's all right."
Why does it remind me of I want to rearrange your face?
Yeah. So and it took me real struggle. I was growing up with this struggle, but I think if he was not really making me this this struggle home about training, I probably won't give too much, because kind of I was doing this because I want it, and he's not right with it. In a good way, he's not really saying, but I can see all the time he doesn't like it. And we had when we got in a verbal argument, he was always pulling this one up,
holding it on you.
Yeah, so that's how it went for me. But yeah, my mom was right. It's all right. He's fighting.
Did she fight?
My mom?
Yeah.
Not really. She was doing gymnastics.
Oh yeah.
And when I was growing, she was quite athletic. She's very small, but she was quite athletic, and she was bugging me because she had bigger hand than me. And I was damn. I was like, I was like, damn, I need to have like bigger hands than my mom.
Oh my god.
Yeah, when I was growing up, that was bugging me, like as a kid, as a boy, like, oh, my mom has big hands, and I was like, oh, chicken.
Oh,
Just
yes,
push
that'll
it.
get you.
Yeah, yeah, but my mom was actually supporting me. She was supporting me
That's
with the
awesome.
sport, so yeah, I'm
Yeah.
really thankful to them.
Yeah, mine are both super supportive. Like when I was at Worlds, they were sending me little videos of them watching it live here at home, and I could hear them in the background like, "Go, Shell, go!" And like mum screaming at the back, like, "Yes, yes!" Like all the little things that mums say, but she was saying it to about her daughter fighting, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah, yeah.
She's got a couple tricks up her sleeves anyway. I mean, when she gets in little play fights with my dad or whatever, she's got some nice little outside trips and
Oh, did she?
yeah, out of nowhere. I don't know where this shit comes from, but she'll just like play fight with someone in the family, and then all of a sudden she sticks out this leg, and you got a no shot over there, and she just takes it down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and we're all just like, what the hell? Jeez.
Oh, there's something in the book.
Oh man, there's something in the water here.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Speaking about something in the water, compared to Australia, New Zealand is way smaller. But for
Yeah.
some reason, guys, you produce better people in combat sports for now.
For now, yeah, it seems that way, doesn't it?
What's in the water? Well, why is that, by your opinion?
There's a lot of alkaline in the water here. No, God, I don't know about the water, but yeah, that's an interesting one. So I don't know if you could like if you made a list of say like the NZ and Aussie combat athletes, it probably would be pretty equal. There's just I guess on trend right now, maybe more New Zealanders, at the minute that are standing out, but it's probably quite even overall. But definitely in the last sort of 5 years, it seems like New Zealand is a bit more on the radar. But um, it's a weird one there. I don't know if it's to do with our massive rugby culture or the way we're brought up, so chill yet ruthless. And I guess we have a lot of thick-skinned kids around, that grow up just either on farms or in those families where fighting is pretty normal in a healthy way. I don't know if I can say personally what it's like in Australia, but bigger country, a lot more percentage of people that are in the outback or in cities compared to New Zealand. There's only a handful of cities, so a lot of kids grow up on farms. I mean, I grew up literally wrestling baby cows, trying to like tackle them to the ground and ride them with my brother, or fighting him until he had friends over that I could try and fight, because there's nothing else to do on a farm. There's so many farmers here. So maybe it's to do with, the environment we grow up in and how laid back our nature is, where we don't frown upon that physicality as much as maybe Australians might, just due to the way we grow up and our parents grow up. Yeah, I mean, we were playing bull rush and tackle games like that at school from 4 or 5 years old, and every teacher tried to ban it, so we'd call it a new name so we could keep playing this new game with the same rules. And you go out getting pretty tough, playing tackle games like that there when you're a girl against these boys, from 5 years old. Yeah, and we've got also, I think in New Zealand it'd be a lot more islanders than in Aussie, and man, like that's a lot of tough cultures there as well. That I mean, amazing rugby players and fighters as well. So it brings up that whole level.
Well, I think it's more about the culture. There's kind of probably because of the Islanders, there's more warrior culture there. They have people here are more laid back, and because you say cities, but are coming from Eastern Europe, and majority of people there also live in the cities. But we fight way more. It's just, I think it's just something is cultural thing, because okay, like let's say back in Bulgaria, wrestling is big part of the culture. It's huge, wrestlers are superstars for for our for our area, like I don't know how much superstar but they live with that status.
Yeah.
And everyone wants to fight. And I had trouble when I come here when I first started coaching, because I'm used to coach like back then. Back there, like everyone who comes to train wants to fight, like so that you have other trouble there. You try to stop them until they're ready to actually compete, because everyone, oh yeah, I want to fight, and I had like a couple of street fights, and he's I don't want to fight. I just really need to work here and there, and I just to need to work how to like grab my hands and ready to fight. No, you're not. So there's another problem here. There, they have to like to calm down the people to actually teach them, and then you to let them fight, because everyone thinks that he can fight, but yeah, it's one thing is to fight on the backyard, other thing is to fight with someone who actually knows what it is.
Yeah.
But it's really easy to coach there, because it's really easy to push people there, because they come with the intention to fight. They know it's going to be hard, and they want to be pushed. So when I come here, I invest to open a big gym, and I had like a fairly decent group to start with, push them that I'm used to, and after the first week, desert empty.
Oh my god. Well, that'll weed out the week.
Yeah. And then I actually realized that I'm just really pushing them hard, and I was like, maybe that was not hard. That was like how you're supposed to start, just. But in the same time, we're paying rent, and I was like, okay, we just have to try to do some social trainings. And I'm a competitive coach. I can do that. I tried. We actually at the end we closed the gym because we couldn't cope with it, and I tried to do some social training, but it's torture for me. I'm not. I cannot break myself. Like it just.
Yeah.
Even if someone is not competing, from my understanding, I have to coach him as he's going to compete, because that's the art of fighting. Yes. Otherwise, I'm cheating him, right? I'm taking his money and like told him bullshit, and I cannot break myself to do that. I know it's good for business wise, but I cannot break myself doing that. It just inbred, like in me, like from all these years training back there, and I can do that. So like I slowly had to bring it up, to guys who actually can endure that, to in order to do that. But it's a big favor, like I still recover from that. It's like big, big reality check, But the thing is, the outcome of this, you can see that there's difference in culture is a thing, and you think that when you go somewhere, like like tough people will stay, other will go, but it's a thing, especially here on the Gold Coast. Right, I reckon some of the big cities, where people, kind of, different people, but here in Gold Coast, everything is so relaxed. It's very hard, to get those people in to train them in a tough sport, because it's a tough sport. It's super fun, but it's tough, and it's fun if you train hard, and you can enjoy it, because you enjoy the sport if you're good. It's pretty painful sport if you're not good in it.
Yeah, it's painful if you don't put in the time or the the effort. You can be bad at it, but know that you're getting better. Yeah, you can be, air quotes, bad in your brain, but you're still getting better. So it's still addictive, and you're still starting to enjoy it, even if you're not the best or you are the bottom of the rung there. But if you're going in there once a week, it's going to be shit for you. You're not going to get better. You're not going to feel good against your mates that you started with, because they'll be leveling up and you won't be. And you're not going to want to stick around, because the coach may be harder on you or may ignore you because you are giving him as much effort as he would give you, So you really got to put in what you want to get out of it.
Well, the thing is, I even stopped charging for a single session. See how many drops from for a single session? Yeah, just drop in and train.
Yeah, it's cool.
Because it doesn't make sense, like, you can learn a technique or two, but you're not really training if you just drop for a single session. Even if you train for fun, if you train less than 3 times a week, it's really slow progress. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's the truth. That's the reality of it. Yeah. It's alright if you have like very for people who are busy, people who are working training for fun, you just have to accept that you progress very slow if you train less than that. You cannot expect, to train less than 3 times a week and then to be competitive. It won't happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, I guess it's the sort of things like that there that, you've probably got your percentage wise, maybe like 40% is your like competitive, like I'm into it for the long run group, and then the other 60% is like, yeah, I might compete soon, or I'm just here for a hobby, you know. But those people like can keep the gym afloat with like paying for it, but also they actually do enjoy it. They just don't want to be world champions. They don't want to be national champions. They just want to get, you know, burn some fat off, or they want to learn some self-defense, or they want to learn some skills that make them feel more confident about themselves, you know. So I think like it's good to have all those different types of people in the gym.
Absolutely, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Perfectly fine. What my point is, what is important is to have realistic expectation that you actually take as much as you give.
Exactly,
You know,
I agree with that.
you cannot because the problems in this sport, like I mean mentally, when you know like have your part in the sport, is when you have unrealistic expectations. Even if you have realistic expectations, sometimes the thing just goes like, you know, like not the way you want, and it just like everything messed up. You have a perfect camp, you train everything, you're in shape, you make your weight, and then something goes wrong in the first round. It's cruel reality of the sport. But the thing is, it's problematic when you like when you're not able, you know, to train enough. You know, don't expect to perform like a superstar. Probably won't happen. And unrealistic expectations lead to problems in this sport, because it's this sport. The thing that involved in this sport is a brutal reality check. You cannot cheat it.
Yeah.
There's no way to cheat the sport.
Absolutely.
It's the great expression of honesty, because you go there, you walk in a cage or ring or whatever, or a mat, and then you have a guy who trained to kick your ass. And then every time you skip conditioning, or you warm up, or you just went home early, that might be the thing that you might just need, you know, to overcome this. Because the other guy might did the dull stuff. And then you might get a little bit tired. You might get your Kimura, but you don't have, you know, the strength, you know, to finish it. He slips out. And you say, oh damn, I was lazy these Saturdays and not lifting my weights because I wanted to do like whatever, to go there. And you cannot escape that. Reality is reality, and you cannot beat it. But it's very important, you know, to start saying that. That's why I'm always saying, you know, like do your 10 fights, and then we start talking about competing for real. Because before 10 fights, everyone goes with the expectation that he's going to be the next Conor McGregor. Everyone.
Oh, God.
And then after the first competition, oh, that's actually hard. Yeah, it is hard. That's why it's cool. Because if it was not hard, everyone would be able to do it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's so many, like, it's good to hit, like, people get that reality check. You know, they come into a gym or a competition or whatever, and you're thinking, man, they smell of arrogance. But cool, like, do your thing. Let them be humbled by what they're about to experience in the ring or cage or mat or whatever. Like, you know, that's totally them. Like, they're allowed to have whatever confidence they feel they deserve. But it's always good to see people's reactions after they compete, whether it's a win or a loss, or they've been humbled or whatever it is. You know, you see that person's like their mannerisms and their behaviors afterwards, and you can tell that, okay, they've now had a taste for it. They see like what it's really like. It's not like this thing in the gym where they're the athlete that came off, you know, I don't know, some other sport field. They come into our gym and they're a super athlete and they're outstrengthen everyone. They go into a competition and there's this kid who knows all these techniques, who's weak as, but he's got so many techniques because he trains and trains and trains this one sport, you know, and he's not that athletic, but yep, he'll kick your ass.
Yeah. It just it puts you in place, you know. Wherever you're a bit like off, it just puts you in place, and that's the beauty of it. It's really educating. Just put you on your spot, and then you work your way out of there. You accept it, and you work your way out of there. And teaches you to accept like what you have, what you are. Maybe the hardest thing is in the moment you probably understand that you're not as talented that you want to be. But maybe that's okay. and then you keep going from there.
Yeah,
Everyone can be.
that's what makes you stay hungry to it. You know, you have your, whether it's a
Oh, yeah.
sparring or a competition or like a fight or whatever it is, you have that match or whatever, and you finish it and you know immediately what you need to work on. Whether it's 20 things or 2 things, you know, like it is very clear. Like every sparring session I have, there's every single time I finish, I'm straight over. My coach is like, okay, I got caught with this, or whatever it was, or this one thing 10 times, or whatever it is, you know, and or whether it's rolling the same questions, I bring it up, and then, you know, he'll be straight away with a solution or something we're working on the next session or straight after that class. So I think whether it's a, you know, rolling, drilling, sparring, competition or fight, like it opens up your weaknesses mentally and physically, and it gives you like this beautiful opportunity to see it like at its most raw state and go and fix it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and the thing I walk into competition because it is probably me wrong, and I understand that not everyone is like that, especially being a coach. But the thing is, I walk to compete, and I walk to compete because, especially when I'm training something and working on something, I want to try it. I want to try it on people who don't know it,
Yeah.
or like no other stuff. And I want to do those stuff. You know, like I remember I had like times when I was chasing a certain submission. That's it. This competition only do that. I had competitions like that. I'm just going to try this stuff that, you know, I was working for a couple of months and then, okay, I'm just going to try just this stuff. Yeah, it leads you to other things, but I love to do those stuff. And the thing is, not everyone is like that. I grow to understand that not everyone loves competing. Some people just, but it's important to compete. Even if you don't like it, it's important to compete because it teaches you a lot.
Yeah, I had to come to, you know, to sit back and be more open-minded in one kind of way also is that, you know, I grew up loving competition in all areas. I had a best friend as a child and still to this day who isn't competitive at all. She loves to do things that she loves to do, but she could give 2 shits if she wins or not. Like she loves just to do it. So growing up, you know, I'd always be trying to like, you know, win everything, and she'd just be like, I'd race her somewhere down the farm and she's like, I don't care. Like, I'm like, oh, what? You don't want to win? Oh, that's weird. I don't understand it, you know. And like, so flash forward, you know, 20 years, and you know, I'll be coaching one of the women's classes, and I'm used to focusing on, say, certain you know, people in that class that I know are either super athletic or super focused or paying me attention or competitive or something. And I have to pull myself out and be like, okay, wait, where are those ones that are quiet and shy and not competitive and, you know, not saying anything? Where, like, I need to bring them out and, you know, try and, you know, see if there is that competitive nature in them. And okay, yeah, a lot of times those girls, they don't have it in them, but they still, you know, want to try, you know, like they still want to be somewhat hold their own in class, but they don't care if they win or lose. They just want to do their best. So I think that's the part that coaching has really taught me, whether it's been in rugby coaching or, you know, women's MMA classes or, you know, gym stuff in general. Like, not everyone's going to have that same mindset as me and the people I'm closest to of being winning and competitive and doing the best out of everyone or whatever it is. They genuinely just want to maybe not fail, or they just want to try for the first time or create a good habit, you know. So I think that's a really important thing about coaching is you really take that, you really learn about other people's mindsets, and I think you've probably had to deal with that for years now.
Yeah, well, already like when so like 12 years.
12 years, yeah.
Yeah, well, the thing is, some of those people that you mentioned that don't care they win or lose, some of them become really, really good. Just because, and I always envy those guys because I'm on the other side. I'm very competitive and I'm like really pushing myself. And it took me years to understand why some of those people really, you know, like become better faster than the guys who are pushing. Just because of the mindset that they're free from this intensity and fear of failure. and they're free to try things that competitive guys are afraid to.
Yes, I agree.
And I know this by myself. I will always go for my, if it becomes hard, I will go for the stuff that I know that they work for me, and that's it. You know, I know like I win this way, and I'll bring it to this. And I'm sometimes I caught myself, especially when I was competing, very conservative to try something that is like not really, part of my game. But in a moment that slows you down, because sometimes there's stuff that actually might work for you, but you're just afraid to try. Just because you're so competitive, especially when you're competing, that you don't want to lose a spine. I don't want to lose this round.
Yeah.
That's what makes you competitor, but at the same time, it kind of limits you. You know what I mean? And but some of those guys, I had guys who was training who was just training for the fun of it. Didn't want to be champions. And they started doing stuff that I'm afraid to. It's like, oh shit, this guy's doing this thing to me. No way.
They've got no fear of failure of it. They're like, well, I'm going to smile off this. I'm going to walk back to that line over there smiling whether I win or lose this point or whatever. But someone like you or me, we walk back after getting tapped out with something that we, weren't aware of, and we're like, damn, that pissed me off. Whereas those
and then I go to bed and I think, how I get caught in this thing.
What I did, you're right. And I'm like, yeah, leave me alone. I'm just focusing. Those other guys are there like smiling away, laughing, enjoying it. So yeah, it can really bring your tunnel vision down sometimes when you're that competitive.
You go through cycles, but the good thing when you're coaching, you understand that people are different.
Yes.
You don't really realize when you're concentrating on yourself. And when you start coaching, you start finding people are different. They have different ways to achieve the same things. And actually, sports science says, by theory, everyone can be world champion. If he trains in the right place for about 10 years, by theory, everyone can be world champion. If he's with the right coach, he's the right stuff. But here comes the ifs. If he's training regularly, he's doing the right stuff. If he doesn't get injured, if and then brings the possibility to 3% who actually get to the level to be world champions, and from these 3%, probably 1% actually become world champions or not.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ifs on the way. But by theory, everyone who is with normal physical abilities, starts on the right time in the right gym, by theory can be a world champion if he put the work for it. But everything depends from if you really want it, and it's a long way.
Yeah, couldn't agree more with that. Like everyone's dealt with different hands, different cards, but if you're in a position where you got 2 arms, 2 legs, and you can function in the sport you want to function in, follow that. If you don't want to be world champ, it's going to show.
Especially in combo sport, there's so much different ways to achieve the same thing. It's not I bet it's way harder in athletic sports like running, for example, because there's so much genetics, and it's there only so much things the coach adds into. Of course, their technique there as well, and there's the ways to systemize this, but there's a lot of genetics involved. So they're way more limited to way more dependent to genetics. If you're short legged and stocky, you probably won't be the best sprinter in the world. You might be. It's not impossible, but there's high chance you won't be. Just because you have all those guys with those long legs and they're super explosive, and you're just oh, while you're jumping in there, with that. This wrestling run, I don't know, I was listening to a podcast and someone said that when wrestlers are running, it's like zombie apocalypse,
Yeah. Oh,
there's something like that.
My me and the family went down to the rugby field only 2 days ago, and a few of us had a 100-meter sprint off, and I was watching a couple of them and thought, man, we're wrestlers and rugby players, forwards, not backs, mind you, so basically all wrestlers in that sense. And yeah, it was just this the whole way.
And jumping side to side, all this.
not a lot of head movement. It's a lot of just like a robot. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have to say though, my 50-something-year-old dad beat me in the first 100 meters, so I don't know what to say about that.
Well, we had a guy who was coming into our gym like back when I was training, was not coaching. He was a sumo wrestler in Japan, a huge guy, fat ass. And then he was killing us on sprints. Believe me or not, on 50 meters he was just like pew exploding. He was like,
Explosive, yeah.
this guy, you cannot beat him on 50 meters. And we was trying hard because like, oh, this fat suit won't beat me on sprints. But he's killing you. Like 100 meters, no. 100 meters he's like slowing down. On 50 meters he's smashing on sprints. And he doesn't even look like an athlete. He's just like very like big fat guy.
Yeah.
But they're super explosive. They're super explosive. Like I don't know how long they're around, so like 2 minutes or something. But normally never was that long. He just like super explosive. But they're super explosive. They're really explosive athletes. And it's terrible because he was competing in Japan. He was good. His name was Valeri. I don't remember. He was good at that time. He was doing competition in Japan. He was really good. But man, like when these guys overruns you, feel like.
Well, that's it. Like I mean, MMA is any body type can be, world champion. It's not a genetics thing. It's not a minority thing. It's everybody's pretty much on a level playing field there. You could be one of those freakishly athletic bodies. You could be short and stocky, long limbed and thin and hard to gain muscle. Like you see all of it at the top.
Yeah, it's just so different body types. There's not like a body type like you say, okay, that's the MMA body type, because it's a very complex sport. For example, like if you compare to the big sports like wrestling, if you see a body type and you see, okay, that guy is a wrestler. Because like like a bit stocky, like
yeah.
It's not say that like long limbs guy is not a good wrestler, but he just lower chance to excel to like world class level. And you go into boxing, yeah, they're good stocky boxers. Tyson is stocky guy. But if you go to watch Olympic boxing, most guys are long limbs.
Yeah.
And skinny tall guys, just because that the sport is more narrowed a skill set. But when you go in there, you can be anything.
Yeah, it's everything together, eh?
Yeah,
I mean, it definitely helps you to be, strong and muscly, and whether that means you're taller, muscly, shorter, muscly, whatever. You like having a muscular endurance in any sport is helpful. You want to be able to hold your weight, and the thing about MMA is you want to be able to hold your weight plus your weight again when you're holding someone else up in the air. So, yeah, you want to be strong.
Yeah, but at the same time, come guys like Conor McGregor and Anderson Silva, who are completely on the other side. Super explosive guys. You cannot say that they really have like really good like muscle endurance, because you've never seen any of them, really holding anyone, successfully for a long time.
Yeah.
But they're still pretty good. Anderson Silva was keeping the belt for ages. And Jose Aldo as well. Like he was so explosive, like 10 years he was undefeated. So there's no perfect body type for MMA. You can be anyone can be.
I was listening to the commentary from our Oceanias, from the one we just had in March, and one of the guys goes, I don't know who it was talking, but he goes about myself, something to do with a Gabby Garcia like figure, and I'm like, yo, what? Gee, get the out of here.
I haven't listened with the comments. I was doing processing for my next match, so
damn. I'm like, what do you see from where he's sitting that is what I am? I'm like, nope.
I think Matt Walton and Brian Ebersol was commenting, but yeah. I was not really listening with the comments. I was processing the files for my next match, just sending the results.
Yeah. I didn't listen until I came back home, and I was a bit surprised by that comment.
Yeah. Well, you're quite athletic, but I always was saying, being strength is skill as well.
Mm.
Like it's just another skill. It's again, it's another part of the balance. There are techniques that require skill,
Yeah.
and you need to be strong and athletic. You need to have technique. You cannot go away, especially on a good level, without one or the other. Like
Yeah.
you cannot see like on a high level guy, not being athletic.
Mm.
Even like let's say like that legend really, like it's really huge into jiu-jitsu world.
Mm.
But then you have the Miao brothers, who was probably one of the most technical guys like up now in the sport, and they call them with steroids. Why they call them in steroids? Because strength matters, even
Mm.
on their level with their technique.
Mm.
So strength matters. Strength is a skill. So yeah, I don't know. Like people like this legend, and probably bring people, but like if you don't make the effort, to get stronger, you can never get too strong.
You know, it's a thing. Like, I mean, like it's another skill, and all skills can be learned. You know, so I mean, if you're a wrestler, you need to work on your stand up, so do it. If you're a beanstalk and you can't lift up a potato, you need to work on your strength. You know, it goes full circle between all the different areas that can be learned.
Yeah, and the thing is, you're limited by your genetics to a way. You cannot be both like super strong, super athletic, with super endurance and super explosive at the same time. Like just your body type limits you to a certain way, and you have to adapt your game to your body type and to
Yeah.
athletic abilities, and you have to develop them.
Mm.
I might want to play like Anderson Silva, but if I'm not exposed enough, it's gonna be probably quite fine, like or if I'm like like tall and like I cannot like squeeze a wet towel and want to to wrestle like a bit, probably won't work for me,
Yeah.
I wish, but if you don't have the strength, to apply this pressure, it probably won't work for you.
Yeah, it's understanding understanding the body type that you have, and I mean that's obviously like we say, like you can be any body type for the sport, but understanding what you are and where your natural skills, natural say capabilities are. Like I say, no skills natural. You learn everything, but yeah, knowing what that is and using that to your advantage. Like for me, okay, I've played rugby basically all my life, which is a lot of, you could say, grappling. You're not punching in any fair rugby games, maybe off the field, but so that's I've always sort of done that grappling side, and I'm physically like have more muscle on me than some people. So for me, that is my strength side. So yeah, okay, work on that. But also on the other flip side of that, okay, what's the opposite? What's the weak side of that? I need to work on that double as hard, and make that at least at par with what my strength was.
Oh yeah, of course, and the thing is, it's not that easy just being muscular. You have a weight to cut. You have to find the balance there. There are other problems that we have. Like so when you carry like more muscle, your heart is working harder. So that's putting you in a position to have to work hard on your condition, just to be able, to push to the latest round.
Yeah.
It's not like
You can be way
anything is
slower if
given.
you've got too much muscle as well. You're like, it's this fine line of being bulky and slow or having a lot of fast twitch fibers, so you got to work with someone smart in that area that really knows how to get the max performance out of your body.
Yeah, it's very individual, and that's the fun of it. That's why this sport's gonna never be boring. It's just very individual. What to do outside the sport?
Outside the sport, I get pretty into like little DIY projects, like making things out of like wood or whatever. Like
I have seen pictures on your Facebook just actually just today, because I was just like taking a walk on it, because we were speaking all day like back and forth, like should we be able
yeah.
to do this or not. And I was looking like, wow, you're quite handy.
I just enjoyed it. I grew up, like I said, like on a farm. So in when I was bored during the day, or some holidays, there'd be this garage at the back with bits of scrap wood that Dad like was going to bin, and so I just like nail things together, and it looked like absolute rubbish, but I still was like, cool, I made this thing like stick together with these nails, and it was like nothing back then, but I still enjoy looking at a plan and like trying to make it, and I learn every single time I do something like that. My dad, looks at it like, oh, to make that not do that thing wrong, you can do this. So I like to try it by myself, as always. Like I used to dress myself upside down, back to front until until they finally could say you've done it wrong, and then I'd redo it myself. So same thing with that sort of DIY stuff. I do it and then I let them say critique it maybe afterwards, and next time I give it a crack, I'll maybe do it right. But pretty stubborn like that. Also, I like kayak fishing. That's our family business. We manufacture fishing kayaks. We send them all around the world. So
Oh, wow.
for me, I love going out kayak fishing. And yeah, I'm a big like family person, so we've only got like a reasonably small family, but if I've been away in Auckland all week training, I like can't wait to come home for that one night where I have family barbecue or movie with them or something like that there, and just get to be in my own bed. So yeah, I'm a big homebody and farm kid at heart, so that sort of stuff there, those simple things in life I really love.
Oh, wow. Sounds awesome to me. Well, it's people expect the other, but the thing is, athlete wife is normally quite boring by rule. You have no energy for other stuff if you
No,
take it
no.
seriously.
Yeah, you just train and then you think I'm gonna do all these cool things like during the week, but then between those trainings you get so tired you have a nap, and then you wake up, it's time to train again. So yeah, it's not actually that exciting, but I find the most exciting times is when you get on that week before your fight, and when all the work is done and all you got to do now is just like follow the textbook that you've been given by someone that knows your body and how to keep that weight coming down, and you fly or drive to wherever you're going to have your fight, and the work's been done. You get to just enjoy that that fight week prep, and everything. Like when I went to Bahrain, that whole trip was just amazing. Just the people in Bahrain, all the different countries coming together, like in a similar concept to the wrestling worlds, but in a more amateur environment, obviously being the amateur worlds. But wrestling is professional, amateur, everything. You got professional athletes and amongst people that have wrestled for 2 years from some countries, but at MMA worlds it's all amateur, so everyone's there, everyone's much more friendly, and yeah, it was cool. That whole environment, I really, really loved being there for that world champs.
Well, you did pretty well as much as they know. You can world champion. That should
So
be
awesome
fun.
competition. Yeah, that's the crazy thing about those. Like you have girls and boys at these comps, but that the best in the world may not be there. And I mean, some girls that had kids or they moved on to being pro, but that's it. That's why it's amateur for a reason. Once you go pro, that's you gone. But yeah, for me, it was a really amazing first time having a big competition like that. I mean, at Oceania champs year before last, we only had the one fight, it's just myself and Mel, and then the Oceania champs of Spain, we had like triple the amount of competitors in our weight group. In lightweight, we had maybe 4 girls or something like that. So yeah, that was amazing to see the growth in it there. So at World Champs, for me to go over and have 3 fights over the 4 days. I hadn't had anything like that in MMA before. I had it in jiu-jitsu and wrestling and all that, but not in MMA. So it was pretty exciting. The whole concept, it was all so new to me, and to get over there and have the whole, just love the country, the people, the IMMAF layout, the way that everybody running the competition, the cut me and everything, for me was just like, I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, it's awesome, right? They're doing a good job. What you're doing? What's your isolation training plan? How you're figuring out now the keeping your shape with the isolation thing?
All right, so pretty much 6 days on, 1 day off. That day off isn't like it must be this day. Some days I do something like work on my computer stuff a while, and so maybe that day's it'll vary, but it's generally 2 sessions in a day, so it might be just a long run, and then the other session will be in the dojo. So we do either judo uchikomi with Anna, she'll take that session for us, or it'll be a wrestling session, or it'll be a light MMA session. We're a different weight, the 2 of us, so just be sort of light MMA training. And basically every day we do some form of jiu-jitsu drilling. It's, pretty low impact. It's not super tiring, so you can kind of drill that every day without having, aches and pains and the weight between us being an issue. So, yeah, and if it's a day where I just have to do, say, 200 reps of one kick, then I just go out there, use the bag, and rep those out like it was. So, for example, this morning, there was, kickboxing for half an hour, 45 minutes, and then we had jiu-jitsu for that other 45, and then this evening was a long run. So that's kind of how it's been the whole isolation. It's been those 2 or 3 sessions a day, 5 times a week.
Yeah, well, the way I look at it, I think I spoke this with some of the guys on the podcast. It's a good chance for the artist to heal injuries, because you can train now more control. So at least during this period, which is very boring for everyone, is a good chance just to heal your body and just to keep yourself in shape.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we just had the IMMAF Oceanias in Gold Coast, so I was supposed to fly out from there to Morocco for the Olympic qualifier for wrestling. We had the Africa Oceania qualifier there. Some of the teammates and our coach were already over there, and then it was only like 2 days before we were told it was cancelled, because of the pandemic. So I came back home, and then the isolation started. So I finished that comp, super fit and healthy and on weight, ready to go, ready to cut another few kilos, and then it changed. So I came home, full of energy, healthy, fit and everything, but a little bit like, oh, now I'm stuck at home, so we need to make somewhere to train. I'm ready to go, but yeah, so throughout this whole thing as well, just been staying ready and, assuming that I was supposed to be, like, say, going to the European or the Africa Open within this month and next month, knowing that that's not happening, then I'm pretty much expecting, I'm have to be like, cool, here's a comp. You got 4 weeks to get ready. Just training with that kind of mindset, so that we don't have to get ready, we can just stay ready.
Yeah, it's so weird. I had a guy who was going to the World Cup, Summer World Cup in Moscow, and then we just set up tickets and everything, and was ready to go just 1 week. And just 1 week before, like when they said, like, okay, well, you're closed now, you cannot go. Like,
oh no.
Yeah. It was strange, like it was just before, just actually, the end of the hard week, and just when he need to sign out the tempering week. And then just like, no, cannot go, like, and they cancel the comp, and it's very weird.
Yeah, same with us. The whole thing, boom, cancelled, no refund. Like, you pay $2,000 for a flight, you pay almost $2,000 worth of, accommodation and registration fees and all that, and no refunds, nothing. It's all just gone. And as an amateur athlete, that stings your pocket.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun. What's your prediction? How long you expect this one to last, and how you see the sport developing after?
Oh, touchy subject for some people. I think that every country's on a different stage, but I think that we will come out of this whole, like, must stay in your own home thing within the next sort of week or so, and all that. But even if our borders open, other countries' borders will be closed because they still have it. So I really don't see how it's going to play out. I can't see us being able to. I mean, I know that Olympics got changed to 2021 August, so, and we don't even know if that'll actually happen then. So
yeah, someone say that 10 years ahead, there will be a trick question in the history books. So what year was 2020 Olympics
Yeah.
held?
Well, that's it. I mean, they did tell us that they changed it to 2021, but the tag is still Tokyo 2020. So
Yeah, I know.
it's
Okay.
confusing though. I don't know what to use. But yeah. So, but honestly, I think that. I mean, my heart really wants to believe that we'll get another IMMAF tournament this year before Worlds, or at least be able to do the Worlds. Maybe a country, I think they were going to have it in Kazakhstan, and that's one of the areas that's pretty closed off. So, man,
They canceled. I was about to go with Kazakhstan with one guy,
yeah.
a youngster though, but they
The
canceled for the
Junior
moment.
Worlds and the Asian champs both in Kazakhstan the
Yeah,
same weekend.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So, but I think they're meant to have the world champs there is also at the end of the year, and
yeah,
yeah, the team worlds in Bahrain. But I mean, obviously, nobody in the world knows about what's going to happen, so except maybe China. So it's I think the best thing we can do, knowing that we're all in the same boat, is just like, keep yourself physically healthy and mentally healthy, and taking this time to, focus on those things that maybe we've neglected for the last 5 years or 1 year, so taking that time to do it so we don't get stuck in this rut of, oh man, how long are we going to be stuck like this for? And because nobody knows the answers, nobody does, but there are definitely ways that we can actually stay positive during it.
yeah. You're pretty active on social media. You post cool stuff. Like how actually people can follow you on socials.
So on Instagram, it's just the Wild One MMA, and on Facebook, just search Michelle Montague. Something will pop up there for me. And I just made I don't have a Twitter. That's a bit much yarning for me. I can talk like this. I just made a website that sponsors or anything like that. Like all my vlog stuff's up on there as well. So the link to that's on my Instagram as well.
Okay, cool. You're gonna send me links and I'm gonna put in the description of this one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sweet. Well, I guess this is quite late at your place. I don't hold you too much, but you're so easy talking, so I really enjoy
Yeah, I
it.
know, 1:30 a.m., but it's isolation time. It's all right. We've got no alarm in the morning. No drama. All good.
Yeah, that's all right. Uh, the standard question, always the last. What is worth fighting for?
What's worth fighting for? Your mental health. That's worth fighting for.
What's with the mental health? It's really big with the guys from the Kiwi land.
Yeah,
Why so big?
we have a
What do you
really
think?
insanely high, like we have an insanely high suicide rate, especially among young men. And I mean, I think every person you talk to in New Zealand could say, oh yeah, so and so or so and so that I know is, dealt with depression or mental health. I don't know what it is down here, but it can be quite a big issue for so many people. So I think it comes from this whole she'll be right kind of like boys don't talk kind of attitude, maybe old school attitude. And I think in the last maybe few years, so many amazing role models, guys and girls, have been bringing up, it's okay to talk about it kind of mindset. So, this guy that usually is very quiet, hey, look, it's okay to talk if you're not okay. Like, it's okay to be not okay. Talk about it, bring up an issue, have a yarn to your mate, over a beer, or just have, just a casual chat, anything like that. So I think it's just important for us all to just talk about it, make it a comfortable topic, because yeah, it is a gnarly thing to talk about and to think about. But the more we bring it up with one another, the more we're going to be able to recognize signals of people that aren't okay. And things like mixed martial arts are out. The amount of people, even including myself, that have brought people out of ruts, is it's an amazing thing. And I think that the more people we can expose to it, whether it's through listening to podcasts like the one that you're doing yourself, which is amazing, or
No, thank you.
watching MMA, or even just going to try their first jiu-jitsu class ever in their life, I think it can really change people's mental state for the better.
Yeah, and I think that's super important that you said, because as we already talked like before, all these I think many of these destructive like mental states come because of unrealistic expectations. And as we talk, all combat sports and martial arts, they actually put you in place and they teach you not to accept reality, even if it's not the way you want it to be. Because quite often it's not the way you want it to be. Like you go in the gym, you want to be the best in your gym, but yeah, they're guys who are doing this for 10 years, and you need to work a bit, before you actually get as good as they are. And then you start competing. You may be thinking, oh yeah, I'll be super talented, but you maybe not that talented, and no one is, because everyone wants to be super talented to kill everyone, but no one is actually killing everyone. That's the reality of it. But the thing is, the martial arts, especially combo sport, they teach you to accept that and to overcome it, and that's actually a technique. And once you learn the technique to overcome like difficulties, you naturally apply it in your life, and it comes natural for people who are actually a bit ahead into it, but it's hard for the people who haven't been, because it's natural for you to have unrealistic expectations before you actually quash with a reality check like combat sport is. And then when you face that, you say, oh, I'm not the person, or like I'm not so perfect that I actually think myself to be. And you ever comes to this stage that you actually have to learn to accept yourself the way you are. And the way you are, I mean like the non-perfect way you are, because every single person, and I judge this by myself, have this like perfect image. Okay, I'm this guy, but very often you're not that perfect that you think you are. And then very often you actually fail that to be that perfect person that you are, and you make mistakes, because we are all humans. But it's very important to understand that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to suck sometimes. And even if you're super good in something, there are days that you suck into it, because it just doesn't work this day for whatever reason. And that's all right. I think that it's really important. And as you say, the combat sports are perfect way, to learn the technique for yourself to overcome this stuff. So that's why they're super precious.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much for that. I really enjoyed it. That was really awesome. By the way, I just realized you're actually the first girl I talk on this one.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah,
Glad to be the first.
just by chance. So
more.
I wish. I'm trying to chase the other girls as well who actually won Oceania, but yeah, just by chance it happened for you to accept first, and yeah.
Oh, awesome! Thank you very much for that.
I hope you enjoyed as much as I did. It was really awesome, and yeah, I try to post as soon as I can.
Awesome! Thanks so much, Zev.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. See you soon.
Bye.
I hope.
Thank you for listening to the Fight Zone podcast. Subscribe in your podcast app to receive the next episodes, where I talk with other champions and officials after IMMAF Oceania 2020. Stay strong and stay safe. This episode is brought to you by Tambourine Spring Water. Visit tambourinSprings.com.au or call 0434 952 449 to order your water today. Tambourine Spring Water is a local business situated on Mount Tambourine. Their water is bottled at the source on their 163-meter deep privately owned spring. The spring provides access to a free-flowing underground stream, which is where their premium quality spring water comes from. It then goes through a very strict sediment and UV filtration process to ensure the final product remains both consistent and of brightest quality. It is then bottled and stored until it leaves for the client's home or office. Most water companies in Australia all cart their water from a contractor before being processed and then bottled, which leaves lots of room for contamination and foreign bodies entering the water. In Tambourine Springs, it's a matter of minutes from when the water is extracted from the spring into a bottle, which is then sealed and stored into a cool, dark environment. The spring water is naturally bacteria-free and passes all quality tests prior to filtration. Despite that, Tambourine Springs water have one of the strictest filtration systems, so there is no room for error when it comes to your drinking water. They do not add any chemicals whatsoever to the drinking water. The only thing the filters are doing is removing sand and sediments that comes naturally with the water. The three-stage system is there to ensure no bacteria have found its way into the water. When you purchase your water from Tambourine Spring Water, you know you will receive the best spring water Southeast Queensland has to offer from a local family on a mission to provide the best service and quality. Water companies are often blamed with a good reason for polluting the environment with plastic bottles. This is not the case with Tambourine Spring Water. Your water is delivered to your door in 50 or 20 liter bottles, and your used bottles are collected, disinfected and refilled again, so zero plastic waste goes into the environment. Me and my family are also using Tambourine Springs water way before they decided to sponsor this podcast. By experience, once you drink real spring water for a while, you cannot drink from the sink anymore or any commercial waters from the supermarket because it smells bad and has bad taste. Ridiculously enough, in Australia you can mix 50% of the water with tap water and label and sell it as spring water. This is not the case with Tambourine Springs water. I personally know the family who owns it, and I have been numerous times in their small factory to see my water being bottled straight from the spring after the filtration process. Majority of my team also purchase their drinking water from Tambourine Springs Water. Find out more at tambourinесprings.com.au or call 0434 952 449 to order your water today.